What's up, everyone? Peti Kish here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil 9. There was a recent dump of information that just came up, rumors / leaks. We don't really know completely, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about these subjects of what we're expecting from Resident Evil 9. Take this with a grain of salt, guys. It's not official. We really don't know much about this game at all. We just know it's happening. That's it. As well as, if you don't want to get spoiled, you can leave this video if you like. But if you're, super hyped for what's to come, I think it would be an interesting look at what this person has to say about this upcoming game. But before that, I'd love it if you guys can like, share, sub, follow on this channel. I'm growing this community each day, and I would love to push this algorithm forward and have more of these videos for the future. All right, let's check out what these Resident Evil leaks / rumors are all about.
Time to find more leaks about Resident Evil 9 info. Hope they are good.
Thanks.
Shit, no way.
I gotta find that guy.
So yes, Resident Evil 9 was in development for a long time now. And we heard other rumors and info dumps coming these last couple of months that it's going to be open world, perhaps deaths of some main characters, interesting new mechanic that comes through, and stuff like that. But we never really got too much info besides just bits and pieces. But I think now it's getting to the point where fans are wanting to see what is coming up next in the Resident Evil franchise. So I'm on Will Horror Game Central, and they posted this on Twitter /X that according to Bio Declassified, which Bio Declassified, he is part of the RO, which is the Residents of Evil channel. He's part of that crew. I don't think he would lie about this info at all. Whatever he probably got info from, which is a recent playtester has revealed new information about Resident Evil 9. So a playtester revealed this info to him. The Residents of Evil people are very passionate, and it wouldn't make no sense if he would lie about this information, but we don't know yet. So that's why I'm saying, take this with a grain of salt, guys. So all information is considered a rumor until officially shown by Capcom. So the first bullet point here is, will take place 4 years after Resident Evil Village. Okay, that makes sense. Not the DLC with Rose. That's like a separate thing. That's like in the future, a bit more into the future. But it's just 4 years of the whole story. If you know what happened in Resident Evil 8, it takes place after that. Jill Valentine and Leon S. Kennedy will be the main characters. That is awesome to hear. My favorite character in the whole Resident Evil franchise is Jill Valentine. Second is probably Chris Redfield, and then some other characters. Leon is awesome too. I like Leon too, but I still like Chris a bit more. Besides that, Jill Valentine hasn't had a game in such a long time. She was pretty much a backdrop in 5, and then you don't really hear about her too much until they came out with the Death Island CGI movie. They had a moment where Leon and Jill teamed up for a little bit. And it was really cool. I enjoyed their banter and just between them. It was refreshing. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And then Leon Kennedy, the golden boy of Capcom. And we haven't seen him do anything since Resident Evil 6, besides some CGI movies. Really don't know what happened to Leon. All these characters are going to be older, of course. They're going to be aged up. Besides Jill, because the thing where she got experimented on, that she ages slower than other characters, and that's why she's gonna look probably the same, like in Death Island. She's probably gonna look the same, maybe a tiny bit different, maybe a new hairstyle or something, who knows. Same with Leon. He's probably gonna look older, more rugged, I would say, of a character, which is awesome. I want to see Leon go not the pretty boy, but now more this rugged, I've been doing this for a while, he doesn't give two shits no more kind of character. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Chris Redfield and Barry Burton will be supporting characters. That is awesome. Hunnigan in Resident Evil 4, where, you know, they're in the background, radio call, calling you up, you see it. Or in, you know, in RE4 where they come up and you see their faces in the remake, that kind of deal. Something like that. They're going to be in the background. Chris Redfield, he was in the other one. And Barry, he's been gone for a while, so it's refreshing if Barry comes back. I don't know how, but it would be refreshing to see him again. So, yeah, that's interesting. Even if it's just radio contact, it's awesome, but I would love it to see them actually physically helping them during the journey with Jill and Leon. That would be awesome. I would love to see that happen. All right, another thing. Jill Valentine is dressed more tactical, similar to her look in Resident Evil 5, Lost in Nightmare. Okay, so she has the cap and all that. Yeah, I like that. That's a cool gear. I like that gear. Pretty awesome. That's probably the best way to go. The Death Island one I thought was really cheap. I think they didn't really want to change her too much. She should have worn something different. They literally just copied her model from 3. Not much difference from Resident Evil 3 Remake, obviously. So she's going to have the ponytail, you know, the cap or some sort of hat or no cap, and then some tactical outfit. Yeah, that's cool. I like to see that. Leon S. Kennedy is dressed similar to his look in Resident Evil Dalmatian. Yeah, so he's more tactical. Okay, I know how he looks. Yeah, I remember. I remember that one too. So he's more tactical too. Same with Jill. They're both more tactical outfits. Jill Valentine looks the same as she did in Resident Evil Death Island. However, Leon S. Kennedy looks much older. That's what I said before. I wasn't surprised about that. Main plot. Now, this is interesting. The plot of the game. So Jill from BSAA and Leon from DSO, who investigate an island where the company who created Evelyn resides. They are creating mass clones of Evelyn with the megamycene. Okay, so we're going back to Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. I personally was not a big fan of the Ethan story myself. It was fine. It was like a thing that happened. You get a little bit, you get new characters, new backstories, while having Chris Redfield in the background helping out. So I'm guessing this finishes the ARC story with the whole thing with Evelyn and the megamycene, but now they're doing clones. Interesting. And it's on an island. And there was leaks before, or rumors, that it will be on an island. So it's going to be an open world island, I'm guessing. And yeah, everything's adding up. So they're pretty much finishing the arc of this story, because there's a lot of things from 7 and 8 that felt like needed to be still finished, with Chris with the BSAA problem where they're using the bioweapon zombie BSAs, using them. We still don't know what that arc is going to be or anything, but yeah, this is an interesting thing. So yeah, pretty simple, I would say. You know, get in there, destroy the cloning facility, destroy whatever they're doing with Evelyn's or the megamycene, where they're fusing it in the clones and all that. Yeah. So they're trying to stop that from happening. Chris and Barry will support Jill and Leon via radio calls. One mentions Rosemary Winters. Okay, so they're going to mention Rosemary. That's cool. As we know, we played the DLC for that, for 8. Like I said, I hope that Chris and Barry come into the game as well, like later in the game as like backup support. That would be awesome. I don't want them to be always radio connection, like Kodak call from Metal Gear Solid. I don't want that all the time. I want them actually to be physically there. That would be awesome. They will use Rosemary's blood to create a vaccine for the residents of the island. Okay, so that makes sense, because her blood is DNA of Evelyn and mycene, and they are trying to connect it together. So they're going to try to find a cure. So it's kind of like Resident Evil 6 with Jake Moeller. That story a little bit, where they need his blood to stop the virus that's happening in 6. Kind of deal. Okay, we're kind of going back to Resident Evil 6, but hopefully it's executed a bit better, because 6 is probably the poorest Resident Evil from all of them. It's the poorest one of the group, I would say. There's just too much conflict, too much story arcs going on at the same time. It needs to be more fleshed out, I would say. Jill and Leon will be infected with the megamycete. This is like always in Resident Evil recently, where they always get infected by something. I'm kind of done with that. They're going to be hallucinating all that stuff. I really don't care for it that much. Okay, you can have it, but hopefully it's not through the whole game, like RE4 where Leon's infected. And we just mix it up, change it a bit, you know? I really don't want that. Whatever. If it's like a short time period, then I'm fine, but I don't want it through the whole game, you know? Okay, Blue Umbrella will return. Oh yeah, Blue Umbrella. I totally forgot about those guys. They're from Resident Evil 7, and they really never show up after that, really, because Wolfhound Squad, Chris's new team in 8, but you never really see them again. I always question, why is Chris working even with the name Umbrella, though it's blue? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Blue Umbrella turns bad, but right now I think they might be good. The island location consists of abandoned hospital, caves, abandoned houses, dark forest, abandoned factory, laboratory, and a temple. Yeah, most of like what Resident Evil 4 is, 5 is, like those kind of games. A lot of those places sounds familiar. A lot of places that you would go to in general. Mix it up a bit, not make it similar to what the OG Resident Evils were, where you're just in Raccoon City or the police station or the Spencer Mansion, kind of deals like that. Okay. Main enemies will be evolved zombies, similar to the Granados in Resident Evil 4, as they can also use melee weapons. They're fine. I wish they would go back to generic zombies. I really do, from like the older ones, but it's fine. I think those are probably the better versions of the modern zombie. They worship the moon and have moon tattoos on their arms. They can be heard singing to the moon while looking out to the sea. Leon will be stalked by a constant enemy, with Jill will be attacked by the Goat Man. Oh, that's horrifying. So there was leaks before that they're going to have the Wendigo. They're going to have these like witch characters and the Goat Man. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, we had stalking characters, but I think we're getting to the point where stalking characters is just a trend in Resident Evil now, again and again. I think we need to mix that one up too. We don't really need it. Goat Man sounds horrifying, especially in the Dark Forest. Holy shit, that's going to be horrifying. Antagonist is called Mr. Simon. So I don't know who this Mr. Simon is, but we haven't had, let's say, a really good villain since Albert Wesker. Albert Wesker was peak villain for the Resident Evil franchise after he was... But who can we get? Who's another big baddie from that organization, or in some sort of way part of like the Connections or something, this new group that could be on the tier as Albert Wesker? There's not really much, so hopefully they make this villain interesting and actually have something diabolical about him, or something he's one step ahead of Leon and Jill, and he's just critical and he can like manipulate them in some way. I think it would be cool. He needs to have some characteristics to make him badass of a villain, you know? Playtests were held in April and September. April playtest was Jill section in the abandoned hospital, while the September playtest included Leon in the forest. This is pretty recent. This playtest was pretty recent. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. Is it gonna be like one section we play as Leon, like kind of like in Resident Evil 2, where you had you had one section where it's just you played the full game as Leon, and the other one you played the full game as Claire, but now it's Jill and Leon? Are we gonna have that or go back to picking characters? Or are we gonna do is we're gonna have co-op like in Resident Evil 5 and 6, where we can play together with the characters, or kind of like a mixture where it's gonna be we take Leon first story and then we move to Jill's story, kind of like it's gonna go in between two arcs. I don't know. We really don't know much about that either, so that's all up in the air, obviously. And now Resident Evil 9 will close the Resident Evil 7 and Village story with megamycete. Is obvious. They're gonna close off this chapter. That makes sense because in Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, it was mostly Umbrella and destruction of Raccoon City, like the beginning. Then 4, 5, and 6, even Code Veronica, I would say, It had that story arc with like how this infection can infect the world and what kind of different types of BOWs they can have, you know, fighting through all of them. And then the redemption arc at the end of 6, kind of. And then we have 7, 8, and 9, which is pretty much, I would say, the Ethan arc, Ethan Winters arc, pretty much. Ethan goes through a crazy ride. There's a lot of like questions I have to ask about this too. So every game with Leon in it, you know you're going to have Ada, right? No mention about Ada. Then again, this could be just a demo he played, you know, the 2 sections, obviously. No Rebecca, no Claire, no any Sheva or Carlos, any of those other one-time characters. There was rumors a while back that, you know, they're going to kill off one of the characters, Chris, Claire, one of those would be killed off. Any of those, nothing of those characters at all. And another question is this going to be first person, third person, or fixed camera angles? Well, we can get rid of fixed camera angles because I know Capcom and a lot of what they said, they don't want to go back to doing that, which I would love it if they had all 3, to be honest. 3 options would be awesome. I think fixed camera angle would be my preferred one. I love the fixed camera angles. They're so cool. But since it's open world, it's not going to happen. So we don't know. It could be third person or first person. Or they can give you 2 options. That would be also awesome too. I don't know. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the first person perspective in Resident Evil. I'd rather do the third person. But that's just me. You know, I like to look at my character and all the movement and the animations going on. That's why like Ethan was a first-person character, because you're supposed to be like Ethan. You're through his eyes, you're seeing everything, you know. Ethan was a cool character. He was fine, but he wasn't my favorite at all from all of them. He wasn't my favorite. It's very, very interesting. There's some good things in here, and there's some things I kind of question. Most of it, I think it sounds pretty decent. It sounds pretty good. What do you guys think overall? Let me know in the comments below. I thank you so much for watching this long. And if you didn't like this video, I still thank you so much for watching this long. Until the next time, guys, have a good one all. See ya.
Don't forget to punch the like button and subscribe. You don't want to see Chris Redfield get angry.